In a previous part of our Getting Started with Laravel series, we've seen how to bootstrap a new Laravel application with Sail and Docker. This allows you to develop a Laravel application without having to set up a PHP development environment on your system. With the base application up and running, the second part of our live streaming series was focused on setting up a basic blog layout using TailwindCSS. In this video, you'll see a recap with all steps executed during the live session so that you can reproduce them at your own pace. Before moving along, make sure you have followed all steps in the first tutorial of the series in order to bootstrap your Laravel application and development environment. This will require you to have Docker, curl, and Git installed on your system. If you haven't yet, bring your environment up with sail up -d. This command will bring your environment up and running in the background. Your Laravel application should now be available at localhost from your browser. Open this URL and you'll see a page like this. So we are gonna run sail npm install. Yes, it works. Then after we install the dependencies, then we will update the dependencies to include TailwindCSS. First, we're going to install the basic dependencies for Laravel. The next step is, installing Tailwind using npm. Let's go back to the terminal. So we need to do save first, of course. Okay, now we have TailwindCSS basic dependencies at least installed. Now we need the configuration file, and we can run this command to create our configuration file. So remember, save. Okay, we now have a tailwind.config.js file auto-generated, and we can find that on our code editor. Let's see the next step. This is the minimal file that was created. Okay. And this is optional because it's for production. Then we don't need to do that now. For production, there's a dedicated chapter for that. And now we need to configure Tailwind with Laravel Mix. So we're gonna edit the webpack.mix.js file as instructed here in the documentation. I'm gonna open the code editor now, and we're gonna edit this file, webpack. Okay, so let's now include these. This is what we need, right? Just this line. Yeah. Okay, this is done. Now we're gonna include the base TailwindCSS files to the app.css file where the resources are defined. Let's do that. So we're gonna open this file here, and this is when we build the CSS, that is gonna be the final output. Then it's gonna include all this components. So let's go to the terminal. It's resources css app.css. Let's go. You're gonna find this here, css app.css. There's nothing here yet. We now have the base components, the base library from Tailwind included, and now let's see the next step. Yeah, let's go with that. Okay, this is what I want. We can start with that. So we're gonna create a new template, and then we're gonna start creating a base structure for the index.blade.php, and we don't have JavaScript for now. And here the documentation, let's copy these things here. Go, we already have these. Yeah, we already have. Let's do like this to make the same. Yeah, so this is what's important for us. This is already the output from the both CSS and all the steps that generate the CSS. And here we're gonna build our page. I'm gonna just do like hello world. This is not gonna be not gonna have any formatting. And this is the thing about TailwindCSS. Then you're gonna have to, of course, build your template using the helper classes, and by default the elements are unstyled. There is no default styles applied, so you have the freedom to really build as you want. Yes, watching, yes. Compiled, and what else? Yeah, so I think it's gonna be watching for any changes that we do. Let's just change already our web route to this template. So instead of welcome, we're now gonna call index. And now let's have a look our hello world. Yes, so we have hello world here and styled, and let's start playing around with some things. Yes, oh. Yes, this is what we want. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna do a BG gradient to right, to R is to right, and you can do like this. This one looks nice actually. So to, from, and to. BG gradient to right, to left, to bottom right. There's a lot of options. We're gonna try it now. Let's go here and then let's do gradients. I think it's like this. Let me have a look quickly. BG gradient to R from. So the colors, they have tints, you know. So you will choose, for instance, red 100 or red 200. So this is gonna give the intensity. Let's say from red 100 to red 900, just so you can see. It's gonna be very red, but let's see how it looks. This should work. Yes, so 100 is like a very light pink shade. But let's do something actually nice now. So I think there is another one. Is that from 2 times that you use? So you can do 3 colors. I think I'm gonna start with maybe blue 300 and then 2 purple and I don't know if it's through, maybe it's through. That would be weird. Yeah, let's see. Let's do these and then we look at the dots. I promise. Yeah. No. So let's see again. It's from via. Yeah. So I now want something darker. I'll go with 600 via pink 500 to purple 900, and let's see how it looks like now. Yeah. Yes, so we need a container. I'm gonna start with a container, and we can use MX Autos to make it at the center, to centralize it. So let's start with that, and you can also add some padding. So padding. So once you get used to the terminology, things are very guessable, like very straightforward. They follow a terminology that you can just, get it. Like, for instance, this is M is for margin and P is for padding. So when you see X, it's because it's just on the X axis, not X, and then Y. So you want a padding that way, like on the sides, then you use X, PX. Dash and the number that is what I don't know the if it's in pixels, but yeah, PX, and then you get 4, 6, and whatnot. PY was gonna be just add padding like this on top and the bottom, and then you can also do MX and Y. So yeah, we're gonna start with this container here. We're gonna add also some padding. Let's go there. So here we're gonna have to break it into a column, and I'm gonna look into that in a moment. We're gonna also increase the font size, do some things on the styling the font here on the header, the H1 here. I'm gonna have to look at the dots again. Let's look at the dots. again for the so also add some padding later. Typography, need a refresh. Font family, font size, so we want to do a text XL, maybe 2XL. Let's see. Okay, I was in the browser, I was in PHP Storm now, sorry. Yeah, so we're gonna add text to Excel here. I'm gonna add also PX4 for some padding. And yeah, this is something. Let's see how it looks now. Okay, I'm gonna look now at the, I think it's what, grids and stuff that we can use to build the body and this, with the sidebar on the right. Yes, so I usually use grids. That's what I prefer to use. And so grids, you can define the size of your grid and then the gap between each column, each cell, let's say, and it's very straightforward and it's easy to make it responsive as well if you use the modifier. So that's what I usually use. I'm gonna use that today. So this is a basic structure of the grid. I forgot the word for that, but you can kind of merge more than one column, so you can create the ratios like that. Let me find this. Maybe there is one example somewhere here. Yeah, so here, this is a good one. Correspond, yes. So it's like table, right? It's very similar to tables. So it's a lot better, of course. So we're gonna do, you can do like this is an example, you know, that works. This is with 3 columns and you can just do 2, and then you can move around to see what works better for the proportions you want to use. So it is responsive and proportional. This one would be the sidebar. No. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, so it worked. You can see here the distinction, the structure, but then of course we need to do a few more things. We need a background, so, like for the container. Probably we might want to do like a separated container content and then sidebar, but I think I'm gonna go with a simpler white or like whitish background that is just like the whole thing, and then we build a header later. Yes, a header will be on top of everything. So let's do this and add some padding. It's too little padding, we need more padding on margins, so let's do that now. We need more, I think we need, no, a margin maybe works. So we need to put the white somewhere, like cannot be on the body. We have the background of the body, the gradient is gonna be at the back of everything. Then the container can have the background, the white background. Yes, also rounded corners, and I think we want to separate from the top there, so we need a little margin top there. So it should be empty, empty 10 maybe. So this Not sure if this is working as expected, but MT10, the text is kind of too black. Oh yes, because PX, we need PY, that's what I wanted. PX 6 PY, because we want a padding on top and bottom, so that would be PY. And out here as well, no, that is just on the top that we want. Actually, like, make it at the bottom as well. And I think also the color of the text is kind of too black. I would like to do a text color that is a little bit lighter. So yeah, so that's a good starting point for the positioning. Now let's make it rounded. Maybe a little bit more gray, I don't know. Let's see the text color again. And the rounded corners. Let's see rounded first. Rounded. Nope. Rounded corners. Rounded small, rounded medium. I think we want rounded medium. Or yeah, and also shadow. We can also add a little shadow. It looks nice. So let's do that. And also let me see the color of the font again. Background typography, font, text color. And text, yes, okay, cool. So maybe like a gray 600, something like that, I'm thinking. And we also want the rounded medium and shadow medium. Let's see now. Yeah, that looks nicer. That looks a lot better. Okay, so we can use these placeholders with the size we want. And we can make the images responsive with Tailwind, so they're gonna fit well in the area without much work, much struggle. So we can start with that. Let's try these. I will use the same size that DevTO uses, which is 1000 for 420. So let's say that we have a post here, right? Okay, so this is not inside the columns. That's why it was weird. Main content here, I'm gonna start with a blog post. Let's say then we have the image. Post and the image, and here I'm gonna do 1000 for 420, and then we can add the some classes later on for the image. Can make it rounded as well. Let's do it already. Rounded, even small already makes it look nicer. Also some margins. One margin Y, maybe like 4, and then we want H1 to XL or maybe 3XL. This is the title of my first post, and then we can use a little paragraph. This is the description, blah 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 blah. And we can add more elements later on, like tags and stuff like that. I'll put twice, put 2 of these. I think we need a little container here. So we have some spacing and we can add some extra, like a shadow or anything. Gonna do UI or NY for here and here. Okay, let me copy this again. And another trick for Lauren Pixon for random, like so you don't get the same image when you do like this copying, then you can add just any letters, any like a little variable input get variable, then it's gonna be different. Let's see. Something. Okay, so we want more rounded, and I'm gonna get some default text to put here. We also want some sidebar stuff, content, and we can visualize better. Yeah, I think this is a good starting point. Let's go back. The sidebar, we might have like an H2 categories, and it could be like grayish. Like this, and text XL maybe. Then let's say Linux, PHP, development, this really useful shortcut on JetBrains IDE is Ctrl-D to duplicate the line. I really like that. And career, yeah, okay, that's a good point. So this is gonna be totally unstyled at first. I want to do the image. I also want more margins, like 10 or something. Rounded, large. Let's see how it looks now. So we don't want all this stuff here. So I'm gonna take the padding out of it. We're gonna use the post component to position itself rather than adding that much padding here. And this looks quite okay, actually. So let's add a link to this. Like normally you're gonna have a link here, right? So let's do this. Should have done it. Okay, so I'm gonna just add a link here. Just of previewing, and we want to take off the yeah, this padding here. I think this is one. This is the offending one. No, not this. This one stays. So what we need actually is this one the problem. So we need only a bottom, margin bottom. We don't need on the top as well. Maybe we need to increase it a bit. But this should do the trick now. Yes, so almost there. I think the image also has a little bit of padding now, so there's a little this misalignment here. We can fix it. So what I'm thinking is that this sidebar is also too large. So now I'm gonna play a little bit more with the columns. I think I'm gonna add another column, change a bit the ratio of the call span so that the sidebar is more narrow. It's too large now, too wide. We now have 3 columns only, and it calls more of 2. So we now add maybe 5 or 4. Let's say 4 and 3. How it looks. So how it looks. Yeah, this looks better. Just the image is smaller than the container now. It's the width of the image should probably be larger now with this change. Yeah, I think this is okay. You can work with that. We also need some header. So the header could be either like here inside this white container, could be like a separate, so you can see the background behind it. Yeah, let's try the header here on top of the gradient background. Maybe it looks nice. So this would be on top of the grid, actually, inside the container. No, the side of the container is going to be white. That's not what we want. We need another container then to keep the background, the original background. And this is going to be our header. We might also need a grid for having like links on the right and a logo on the left, or the name. So I'm going to also copy these. Not the call span. So here maybe 1 and 1, yeah, 3. So this would be like menu, for instance, on the right. And may use the I think it's text, right, but I'm not quite sure. We're gonna look at the docs. And another one here for the H1. And these can be 3XL maybe. We can set up a custom font for that. If you don't want to create a logo, can also find a nice font, a cute font, and use it instead of just creating an image. And this would be a menu. Let's see how it looks now. Something broke, but I think I forgot to close the container, maybe. But this also needs to be white. Let's fix it. Yeah, I forgot to close the grids here. Yes, we want these to be text white, probably. Let's see. I think we'll need some padding margins. MX Auto I missed, so it's centralized. Text white, MX Auto, and then we have it centralized. And we also want a little bit of padding on top. I think it's PT4 or PT6, not margin, not padding. MT6. So a little bit of margins, white text. MX Auto. Yes, so this is starting to look a little better. And the menu, not sure if it's gonna be on the right. It depends. But what we can use this menu for, we can use this also to show categories if you want, but we already have categories here. So maybe this would be a place for like a little about page that you can create as a separate template, or you know, something different. The idea of this blog is to be headless, which means that you don't have an admin panel. So we're gonna pull your content from DevTO, and then you're gonna have these as markdown files in a repository. So you can even turn or create a GitHub action to auto update. So these are plans for the future. Today we've seen how to integrate TailwindCSS into a Laravel application newly created, and then we built a basic structure for our blog. And this was the objective of today's stream. We are reaching the end of the stream now. I hope that you have enjoyed it today. I find it always fun to work with TailwindCSS in the front end, because it's you will find a way to do things, and for me it's a lot easier and straightforward. I can look at the docs and I will find a way to do something that I want. So next week we're gonna do work with a artisan command. We're gonna create an artisan command to import posts from DevTO. So it's gonna be quite fun. Bye, see you next week.